Hey everybody, it's Perez. Joined by 50 Cent. First
Yep.
Oprah, now Perez. Who would have ever thought this?
That's right, I'm moving up.
No, but people are gonna, first Oprah, now 50 with Perez. What do you think people are gonna think?
Ah, man, that's a 50 squashing all his beef.
Are you? Why?
Yeah, now remember you called me a douchebag.
I did. Well, you said very homophobic things in the past.
Yeah,
I mean, I've said things in the past that I regret as well. I was actually really excited that you agreed to come because I feel like there's like a parallel happening.
And again, it's never if you say things without having malice in your heart, then you don't find it's not a big mental struggle for you to go and say that's not what wasn't my intentions.
And people cannot be douchebags anymore. But I will start off with that because you did say repeatedly a lot of very homophobic things.
And when you say,
and in case you didn't know, I'm a big homo. You knew that, right?
What happened? Yeah, what's going on? I saw the pictures. But look. I went to an interview with someone who it was a Playboy magazine interview. I never forget it because it was like 4 hours long, and the guy kept asking me questions, and out of frustration, I said, "Why the fuck do you keep asking me that?" And I said it, and I offended him, but it felt like he wanted me to say, some people want what they want, and you know this. You know that there's people that actually.
You mean they're gonna like ask you specific questions to get the specific thing out of you?
The response that they want, and he kept going and going and going, and then I got frustrated and just said, "Well, I'm doing this anyway for 4 hours because the article's only going to be this long anyway, and you got me here for 4 hours to try and figure out how you can hear something that you haven't heard from me." And
do you think about that actually when you go into an interview? Like, what can I tell people now?
Yeah, or if they give me some, if it's interesting, the environment and the questions there, it already organically turns into something that's good. It becomes entertaining. If you go in there with someone who just is fishing, trying to find something, and you can find yourself in a frustrating space because you're not comfortable enough to give your honest answers. You start being defensive. You start doing things that are other than your actual character.
Well, my thought on you in the past was you're a very smart man, and you were clearly, you were courting controversy. You were trying to piss people off on purpose.
And when you get that,
and I did that too in the past as well. I would justify my behavior, because in the past I would say some very hurtful things to people directly, and I would say, well, if they don't like what I'm saying, they shouldn't read my website, and it's just entertainment. They shouldn't take it personally, and that's what comes with their job.
Meanwhile, your website is getting bigger. More people are paying attention to it, and you're saying, well, you shouldn't read my website if you don't like what I say. You're starting to be at one of those points where people have to care about what you're actually saying.
I mean, it came to a point where even if they didn't want to read it, like Jennifer Aniston told me this, things get back to her.
Right.
And even though it wasn't my intention, it was my intention not to hurt somebody. I did hurt people. And there just came a point for me where I was like, okay, it's just growing up, I think.
Right, and it's still, at that point, you were just giving your opinion.
Not always. I knew sometimes I would exaggerate my opinion on purpose. Or I would say something, like I'm all about putting it out there. Like I think the worst thing that I did, it's bad. And I keep talking about it because hopefully message will get out to this guy that I'm so sorry. Even though I don't accept people to forgive the things I've done. And sometimes saying sorry isn't enough. I would like sometimes make fun of the children of celebrities. Like Adam Sandler specifically and his daughter, I would post pictures up. And maybe if I didn't even say, not a cute baby, but by even just posting the photo and drawing attention to her, people would then leave negative comments. And I know that that's not a nice thing. But I did it anyways because in the back of my mind, like, I want people to disagree with me. I want them to leave comments because another comment is another page view.
But what is to entertain? It's to provoke emotions. Right?
Yeah.
It's whether people love it or people hate it, they're interested in it. It means it has a relevance. It exists for those. You're never gonna be like if we make really big hit records, you know what they say? This is going to be great at top 40 and crossover, but this is not going to work at urban. You know what I'm saying? You make a record that works, that the hip hop culture relates to immediately, and they go, this is going to do dope. Really good at urban and rhythmic, but you're not going to sell a lot of records because you need to be on crossover on top 40. You never, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Everybody likes Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it works.
You know, so going back to Oprah, you were on there talking about things are different with you. You're reading Deepak.
Yeah,
I love Deepak. Was there something that changed for you?
No, you know what? The difference in who I actually am versus the persona of 50 Cent. Like, I've always had to be two people growing up. I was my grandmother's baby in the house and aggressive enough to get by in the environment outside. So when I write the actual music, it reflects that, like getting by in the actual environment, everything that was there in front of me, like in the neighborhood. And then inside, they don't even, my grandmother has no idea who 50 Cent is. Like, she'll look at that and be
Still? No, she must.
She has the CDs, she don't open them. She buys the CDs, but she leaves them in the wrapper. Like, just because she knows that it actually helps the record sale, and she sees everybody else going and get it around the house and she go get it, but she don't.
Do you treat grandmother very well?
That's my baby.
Your grandmother raised you pretty much.
Yeah.
Because your mom passed away when you were young.
Like, nah.
And there's some things that have been said about your mom.
Mm-hmm. My mom, like...
Was your mom a lesbian?
Yeah, she like women.
Okay.
My whole childhood was like that, so it's like, I get... The concept of... It's two different things, too. From a female perspective, like, when you see two females together, you think, oh, they're just girlfriends, they're really close. Like, you know, how often you see a woman have a friend that's close. Actually, even could be in comparison as close as she is to her man, she is to that actual girlfriend. They got girl talk and everything else going on that end. But my mom, the male was missing. So when you're that small, that's all you interpret it as, is you don't see anything that would indicate that there's other things going on. But later, my grandmother, you know,
she told me
on. That kiss was a little different from the last, from those other kisses you saw.
The music scene has changed a lot since you first burst out into the scene and were like incredibly successful. Mm-hmm. Like, one of your albums sold like 9 million or something.
Yeah, Get Rich or Die. 13 million the first album.
13 million. That's way more than 9 million. But so your new song, it's called The New Day,
right,
and the lyrics are very reflective of who you are now. In the back of your mind, do you think you could still be rapping and on Top 40 radio in another 10 years?
I'm not sure I want to be. You know, I say this all the time. I'll still be capable of creating music, but I'm not sure I would want to go out and perform it at that point. You know, so maybe at that point I'll be focused more on developing other artists. Even my ideas at that point, I would
developing other. I'm surprised you said that, because I would have thought you would have said something more about like business or this or that, the other.
Yeah.
So you always want to be having your hands in the music scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's my original passion, man. I really love music. I think when it marks time. So a song
and it's timeless.
Yeah, your song come on and it'll take you right back to that
forever.
Space that when it came out, what you were doing at that time period. That's like, we got older music that come on and that older person in your house will start rocking and say, what you doing? You don't know nothing about this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that time that they were actually out and partying. And at the point that the teenager now that's listening to the music, they were at that point in their life when that song was smoking hot.